Welcome to the Candy Shop Show. This is Candy on January 6th, 2016. And wow, it's my birthday. And it's just amazing. And I love to be with my fans on the Candy Shop Show. And here it is, the 6th and 2016. It's just going to be a great year for me and my show and the Galactic as we free Earth and just see lots of wonderful, sweet spiritual truths being used and just helping our galaxy and each other. And so it's just a great start to 2016. We've got Christopher Stephen Jacobs as our guest speaker tonight. And so hold on. We're going to have a great time and might have a newcomer that's scheduled to have a quick scan later on in the show. But let's see. Would everybody in the chorus say, "Happy birthday, Candy"?
Happy birthday, Candy.
Candy.
And many, many more.
There sure will be. According to Chris. Well, so I was hoping that Chris would give some feedback. He can interrupt me or at the end here. I want to start off first, though. We're with some of the Cobra information that he did in December, and Cobra and the ambassador from the White Dragon Society are cooperating now, and of course the White Dragon Society did some wonderful things for helping us financial situation. We're going to talk more about Benjamin Fulford's reports about the wonderful things, and we can see with the stock market dropping and the China stocks, and we can see that a lot of things are changing. So anyway, back in December, a lot of people were concerned with some false flags that were happening. And, Elizabeth and Diamond and I, we had talked for years on conference calls about some of the issues and problems going on in the world to try to enlighten people. But people know what the problems are. What we're focused on the Candy Shop Show and the Diamond Network now is the solution. And that's what Cobra said. He said the only remedy to all this false flag stuff in around the world is to just drop this from your awareness. Just let it go. There are more important things that are happening that have much more influence on the planetary situation. And instead of watching the TV news and focusing on those false flag attacks, it's much more important to focus on the goal of the planetary liberation and what you can do to assist in that process. And that's what I want to do. At first I thought, well, that some of these so-called incidences where people got killed, and it was sad, that it was supposed to bring the planet together like it did when Diane got killed. And when John and his wife got killed, there was a whole bunch of love that went out to Diane's children and to the Kennedy family. And it was just a wonderful time, and it was an opportunity almost to tip things over to the light. And I was hoping that some of these things could be the same way, but it's not really. These false flags, that's not going to happen. It's not like when Diane was killed. And so we don't even need to think about it or study or research or watch the news, and just let those things take their course. We've got more important things to do, that we're saving our planet. And isn't it wonderful that Gaia is shaking up everything? There's all these earthquakes, but they're and the methane gas is being released, but it's out where the population isn't. And the extreme weathers I mean, people are just generally doing just fine. Now, Cobra says, of course, before the planet is liberated, we cannot guarantee and we cannot say that all the cabal's New World Order plans will be stopped. But most of them will be. Yay! And I would not focus so much on the fear of what's going to happen, on what they're going to do, but again, focus more on what each of us can do to speed up the process of liberation and ensure our victory. And we know that it's meditating, and we need to have people meditating at the same time. We have to have people meditating specifically that the event happens soon and with ease. And so I certainly meditated this past Sunday in Central Time Zone. It's 1 o'clock, so you figure out it's from 1 to 1:10, and that's what time people are meditating in South Africa and Asia and everywhere at the same time. So do put that in your calendars. And, of course, if you're in the Pacific Time Zone, then that would be 11 o'clock to 11:10. Okay, Cobra says here's a question. A lot of people want to know how they can get a feel for their energetic bodies, the astral, etheric, or plasma planes, while they are still in their body. Is there any method that you can recommend, Cobra? I have recommended pyramids, crystals, and lasers. Cobra replies, basically the core of this question is that people would like to be aware of other aspects of their being, other higher dimensions, parts of their being. Actually, everyone is aware of that all the time. If you have emotions, you're feeling your astral body. If you're thinking, you feel your mental body. If you feel any type of energy running through your body, if you're tired or hyperactive or whatever your energy mood is, you feel your etheric body. Okay, I think I'm going to star 5. So people are feeling those things already. They are not aware of it. But what is even more important here is to be aware of the source of all this, which is your soul, your higher self, your I am presence. And you are also always aware of that simply by being. It is the state of existence. You are, and this I am, or you are, is your soul. So I would not give any particular advice on how to get in contact with that because there are many books out there, and each individual has an individual path to reach that goal. Cobra says, I would say, follow your deepest inspiration and your deepest vision, and you will get there. Now, question, they say that Kesh had put out a post from his technology that he was indicating that there was going to be some earthquakes, and obviously that didn't happen. Okay, the situation, Cobra says, the last few years didn't change much. There will be occasional earthquakes because the Earth energy grid needs to release certain tensions. The light forces can, of course, absorb most of that shock, and as Chris has said, they close the fissures, but not all of that shock because the Earth is a living entity. As an energy being, Gaia has to carry all the stress of the cabal and humanity combined, plus the Chimera group and the plasma vortex, and all this is quite much of a stress to Gaia's energy body. And although there is much assistance here, some of this pressure needs to be released through earthquakes. Most of those happen where there be very few casualties and damage. The event is the moment when this change will be initialized. And, of course, it will take some time depending on the individual case. Each individual being will go through their own process, but the process will start with the event. There will be a massive improvement at that time, a quantum leap, you might say, and there will be fuller subsequent quantum leaps later. But I would say the event is the moment when you have this critical mass of consciousness present on the planet, when you being as a race, as a collective, to use our higher abilities to activate the dormant part of our brain and dormant part of our DNA. And then this will no longer be an issue. It will be simply a very fast, accelerated evolution. The problem is the time before the event when everybody's still suppressed artificially. The Cabal and the Chimera are still suppressing the collective evolution of humanity. This is the reason why people are feeling so unhappy. with the present situation. And, I've been going around during the holidays, and I see all the clerks and the shoppers, they're all gloomy. And, boy, I've just been using these holidays to smile at people. And I just smile, and I said, Merry Christmas all the time. And, wow, and people just smiled right back. Their energetic body's just got a boost when I smiled at them. And the clerks, first of all, would, oh, yeah, I'm supposed to be happy and say Merry Christmas to everybody. But then the customers would do, too. And then I was saying Happy New Year just as many times as I could. And today I was telling everybody, well, it's my birthday. And I'd smile real big and say, well, they would smile at me and say Happy Birthday. And so just bring up the happiness level wherever you are, whenever you can. And, we're doing some great stuff. I am sharing some of the tidbits from Cobra's interview with Rob that was made December 15th. And I just, there is much more there, but I would suggest that folks go in and go to Rob's site. He's relocated to Maui. Listen to that interview with Cobra. Check on YouTube. Go to Cobra's blog, 2012 portal .blogspot, and it's very good. And it has a suggested meditation that we do, but you can just do any meditation that you would like. And so there is just these Cobra interviews are all very interesting. There's too many of them now if you haven't listened to them in the past, but I would suggest that you can start picking up on them. And so Cobra says, I would say the branches of the resistance movement that remain on the Pleiadian fleet, the Andromeda fleet, Sirian fleet, and other parts of the Confederation, and some new fresh infusions from throughout the galaxy will certainly help to fight the Cabal program. And in the 90s, my conference calls would talk about Blue Beam a lot, and he said Blue Beam project, that horrible project of the Cabal, has been destroyed, and Blue Beam will not happen. And I think you folks know that was a project where they were going to have a fake ET invasion, and they were going to have a fake Jesus as a hologram over the St. Paul's in New York City. And so all of that is overworked. We don't have to worry. Let's just think about the light and great things. Now, one of the things that was interesting to me that I'd like Chris to remark on, if he can, and I just hope that the Galactics have joined us and can be a blessing to us this evening. And I just welcome all our Galactic brothers and sisters. And I have been noticing that Orion constellation has been out of place significantly. And there were 3 nights recently that I saw bright light in the sky and the east, and I wondered if that was a starship. And the fact that suddenly then the 4th night it wasn't there, if this was a message of encouragement to me. And Chris, what do you think of that question?
What's interesting about that question is as soon as you said Orion seemed out of place, let me see here. There are, let me see how many joined us tonight. There are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 beings here tonight. And I'll tell you the significance of this number here in a minute that I've run into very, very recently. The first one to speak here is a Bendigoth, and he is from Agartha. And he is, let me see here. When you said Orion moved or seemed out of place, he wanted to... Okay, now he's wanting to speak. Okay. He says, to all in attendance, my name, as you know, is Abendigoth, and I have noticed that people's sight as of late has not been as dwindling as the Cabal beings you speak of would have normally wanted. Orion has not moved. Your perception thereof has greatly improved. The illusion is hence breaking down. Therefore, you see a shift in the stars. The stars themselves have gone nowhere. This shift is in your own sight. This sight will change several more times before the illusion drops. This number 5 that this one has just spoken of is significant in several ways. This means not only speech, communication, but there are several pieces of technology in existence out there that must be addressed. However, this number exists as a form of galactic timetable, as it were. 5 is the number of ages that are in existence. They are galactic ages. This is how the galactics, as you call us, tell time, since the real time as you think of it does not exist. These galactic ages were never supposed to overlap. However, when they overlapped due to draconian intrusions, chaos ensued, and the Cabal was able to take hold, since they traveled through all 5 of these galactic ages with their so-called modern technological marvels, as they would call them. Their godlike abilities, as they would see themselves. However, there are several things that were created in this time frame that were sent back through all 5 of these galactic ages. These galactic ages, as I said, were never meant to overlap. Our brothers, the Anunnaki, or Orions as they are known, created these segments of a pie, as you would say, for each experimental age within what you call the grand illusion. These experimental ages, as I had just said, were never meant to overlap. When the ones you call the Nazis went backwards through time, given their ability they gained through the project known as the Bell or Die Glocke, they polluted these 5 ages. However, the Draconians were the ones that were responsible. The ones you call the White Royals or the White Dragons. Society was originally not as good as they appear now. Hitler thought these beings had a beauty at which they did not have at this point in history. He mirrored that when he wanted to create the white Aryan race or species. He was following a draconian directive. I will get off the Hitler topic only to show that the reasoning these things have happened or occurred was to actually bring about this shift in people's perceptions. If the dark times had not occurred, the light would not have been more or most profound to people. Now, back to these pieces of equipment in which I said fell back through the 5 galactic ages. 1 is a sphere of influence. Its power stretches to the reaches of your solar system. It is 2 halves of what you would call an eggshell, with a ring in the center, depicting all 5 galactic ages. It glows and shines in the night sky and makes people think that it is a comet or a star, or shooting star, as you would say. It has been here since the first galactic age commenced, but was still invented in this modern day and age. It sits and waits on the outer edges of your system near the world you call Pluto, which is actually a construct. But that is a story for a different time, my friends. The second piece of equipment is a cube that is no bigger than a 2-story building in your terms. That is a crude description, but I digress. Its purpose was to create what the Nazi Party dove into as either super soldier or, in effect, the master race, as your Adolf Hitler would call them. They can be created and destroyed within this cube. However, this cube has been here since the Third Galactic Age. During that time, the Roman Empire rose and fell. This was the thing that caused the gladiatorial arenas and the wars that the Romans ensued upon. This device is an unnatural obscenity. This will also be dealt with. The third device is a triangular starship. It is one that is made of a different material, one that we have not been able to quantify in any millennia. It was integrated in the Second Galactic Age. At the time, your Neanderthal man walked the Earth. This starship has been seen by many people. However, it is completely and utterly unmanned and automated by an artificial intelligence. It is not the same AI, as you say, as the cube or the sphere. Those are separate entities. This starship has its own pilot, its own mind, and its own soul, if you call it that. It is on the outer edges of your galaxy. It sits and waits for a time to return to its masters. The Cabal did indeed construct this out of 4 to 7 in the what you call the periodic table. However, during the missing time fragments, as you call them, 5 to 7 elements were either created or discovered that humanity does not know about. This starship is made of all of these. The fourth device is a being of sorts that exists on the surface of your world. It is of spherical nature. It is called the Genesis orb in your tongue. This device can create planets from a single particle of dust or dirt and can create a civilization from a single cell. This device is what you would call or dub a Noah's Ark of cells, cellular structures, and other plant life, and other types of animal life, and stone, and sky, and rain, wind, fire, and water. This is not necessarily a threat. However, the Cabal has since seized this Genesis orb when it emerged from Hyperborea. This Genesis orb was never meant to fall into the hands of these people. The last and final device is something that they would understand quite well. This is a flaming sword, as you would describe it. It is a weapon of unimaginable power and influence. This sword was seen at the entry to Hyperborea, what you would call Hyperborea, the Garden of Eden. This sword was a keystone, as it were, turned to the whims of darkness. It looks as if the flames are roaring across its bladed surface. This is merely an indication of technological prowess and not that of magic, as they seem to think that it is. They believe it is a sword of their almighty god, Lucifer. This is completely incorrect. This was created by his people, yes, but it was meant as a key to enter Hyperborea. This is another thing they are not supposed to have in their possession. They understand it little, but think they understand it the most. We wish to procure all of these devices and use them in the name of the light and the balance. The sword is the least of your concerns. The one that is the highest of the concerns are the cube and the starship. These are the ones that should be focused on first. Thank you.
Wow. Wow. The cube and the seer, number 1 and number 2.
Yeah, the ship, yeah, and from the looks of it, this triangular ship it looks almost fluidic in nature. It's kind of bending light around it and everything. It's completely indestructible. And the cube is something I've encountered already. This thing is a type of artificial intelligence that can turn humans into cybernetic life forms, and it's an extremely volatile piece of equipment. And I did not know where it came from. I didn't know who created it, and it seemed ancient. But like Abendigoth just said, it was sent backwards through time to a different galactic age, so of course it would seem ancient. I figured it was Anunnakian technology, but nope, it's completely human technology.
And this cube can turn humans into what?
Cybernetic life forms, super soldiers, as we would call them. Put several implants within them in a geometric pattern, and they automatically are slaves to this AI, to its basically its orders. And who programmed it was the Cabal. But over the ages, it seems to have begun to falter. And I did not notice this thing before because it was hidden from me. My guides did not want me to see this because it was too dangerous to go after. So that at least if anything that we get done tonight, the cube would be the thing to go after.
Okay, can I add something to all this, Mitch?
Mm-hmm.
Which is important because on Monday night when I was reading the Benjamin Fulford report, and if you guys were there, you heard me comment, we have to ask Chris these questions. So I was already intuitioning, and this, I believe, goes with what the Galactics brought up and Chris brought up tonight about this equipment. Can I just read these short little things from the report because it goes right with what our Galactic friends brought in? Mm-hmm. I just want to put, for 2 witnesses, I mean, this shows that we're actually working together with the Galactics, and it's coinciding with other reports that are out there. And Chris didn't talk to me about this. I didn't talk to him about it because he wasn't there on Monday. And this is just, let me just read these little excerpts I took from Benjamin Fulford.
Go ahead, Elizabeth.
Okay. However, we are hearing from them, sorry, my eyes are blurry, hearing from them that resistance continues from elements of the U.S. corporate government who are using derivatives to continue to create unbacked dollars to buy up the stock market. They also managed to put an illusory $100 billion into their account on December 31st to postpone their bankruptcy. The other excerpt is, it is determined that rogue AI has hijacked, if it is determined that rogue AI has hijacked the internet and the financial system, then, as a desperate last resort, allies of the White Dragon Society have used handwritten messages to organize, if necessary, to take down the United States electrical grid. This can be done within hours. The Pentagon and other U.S. agencies need to ensure that in such an event, analog methods are organized to ensure the continued delivery of food, gasoline, and other essentials to the U.S. citizens. And then this is a couple more. In order to try to prevent such a last resort scenario, Last week, this author had a Skype chat with a probable AI we will refer to as capital D, ABCD. Okay, and then another excerpt. The problem isn't electronics. It's the other side trying to control the electronic system. Maybe these things they brought up have to do with that. And then it is clear we are close to some sort of worldwide breakthrough against cabal rule and towards the liberation of humanity. We must all keep up the pressure until final absolute victory over the cabal. And let me repeat, the pressure Diamond's Network is bringing through is love. Love conquers all with the law of one. And then my other question, which I talked to a starseed, I believe, my son's girlfriend, on the way to her work, and we're talking about this money thing. And I want to just put this in the mix. It's all probably intertwined with these 4 or 5, whatever those things are in the sky. She said, whoever it was that invented the money system was brilliant. And so who are the beings who invented money and money system? They are brilliant. And Franco says he's been to many planets, and none of the beings on any of these planets ever heard of a money exchange system like us. It is very foreign to them. They have never heard of, using money to exchange energy. It's just energy. And so I believe all of that I just brought in goes with what Chris brought up. And so, yes, let's pray for the law of one. And go ahead. Any comments from the Galactic for Candy and Chris?
Thank you, Elizabeth. Yes, they were brilliantly evil, and that's the reason, the other planets don't have it, because this monetary system was so very evil. And we want to say the law of one together after a little bit, but
so I just want to say that I believe this money system has something to do with these 4 or 5 things that the Galactics brought up that are in the sky tonight. Is that true?
Well, probably. And Cobra was saying 6 months ago, prepare for the event. It was going to happen on one day, and there would be chaos for a couple of months. So prepare by having a couple of months' food and water and a few gallons of gasoline stored. But as of December, he's saying the chaos could be a few months. So you need a few months' supply of food on hand for your families. So be thinking about that and double-checking your supplies. And like my family in St. Louis, they're having to boil water because of all the flooding. And the stores were empty. Even tonight I heard another report of the difficulty of the trucks getting through. The supplies are not being delivered because Mother Earth is, really cleansing herself with these extreme weathers and shaking stuff up. So please get prepared in that way, joyfully and excited about it all, not fearfully, but joyfully. Okay, Chris, what are you and the Galactic saying about these remarks?
Let's see. Yes. Let's see. Is it Bendigoth that wants to say? Yeah. He's also speaking, and he says the information you have received. Let's see. Okay. Now he's just going to talk. He says the information you have received is accurate to the individuals who spoke it because they received it from what they believe to procure as a higher source, which, in effect, this is true, very much like this one channels us. However, what they see is a singular timeline in a sea of thousands of timelines. The lot of these events that have been spoken of can and will be preventable. The money crash, as you say, is acceptable because then Earth would be able to join the mass community of worlds out there that do not possess such a slave-driving system, as you would say. We know when to work and when not to work. We don't need to be told to do so, like your people have had to have done to them for decades now. We know our jobs. We do them whether we get payment for them or not. I know on Earth, money is required to buy food, sustenance like water, food, supplies, etc. However, when replication technology is available, money will cease to be. Someone soon will slip up. Someone within the cabal infrastructure will slip up and provide this technology to one individual on Earth. That individual will spread it across the masses. However, there is another type of technology that they withhold other than the replication technology. It is known as memory imprint technology, by which you can learn how to use a device by simply pushing a button and uploading a instruction manual to your brain or cerebral cortex. You will then know how to use every device that you possess with complete accuracy. This goes for any teachings, just like if someone wished to fly a plane. All they'd have to do is gain the memory set of the person who is an expert. Then everyone is an expert. Ergo, the law of one. When one is harmed, all are harmed. When one is helped, all are helped. Emphasis on helped in this instance. This technology reflects that oneness. This is why those other pieces of technology that do not reflect the oneness must be rooted out and deleted, as you say.
Yes.
Okay.
So so
we need to pray the law of one, you guys, so Chris can get some relief and the Galactic, so we can get the solution on its way. So, and then continue, Candy, but pray the law of one first for these devices.
And so Chris was transferred and was letting his vocal cords be taken over, and we heard from the Galactic in first person. And I just appreciate everybody coming on and sharing their energy and their intention for this to be a good show, and for Chris to be strong and help in this wonderful ways. And yes, I think it's time to say the law of one prayer, and Elizabeth, I did the *5. So does people do *6 to unmute themselves so they can say it together?
Yeah, I think the room is open. They just have to *6 to open up. And I want to add, we just want to call in the Divine Flame of Living Love, and I'll let you pray it. And I want to specifically call in the being who invented the money system to this law of one, including all of the technology that the Galactics brought forth, and anything understood or not understood, known or unknown, and any beings to come here now, whether they're for the good of humanity or for the bad of humanity, please come and receive. And go ahead, Candy.
Yes. So, folks, *6 and repeat after me as we meditate and pray, and help our Galactics help us. We are all one.
We are all one.
All one.
When one is harmed, all are harmed.
When one is harmed,
all are harmed. All are harmed.
When one is helped, all are helped.
When one is helped,
all are helped. All are helped.
And
therefore, in the name of who I am.
Therefore, in the name of who I am.
And I am, and my name is I am.
My name is I am.
Am all that is.
And we ask for the highest good in this matter.
I ask for the highest good
in the matter of controlling the cube and the triangular spaceship, as we have been asked for, and to heal these matters that we've been talking about and you don't need to repeat, and in getting the money system smoothly and easily transferred. We ask for the highest good of all concerned.
We ask for the highest good of
all concerned.
Throughout all time and space.
Throughout all
time and space.
Here and now.
Here and now.
And it is done, and I give thanks.
And it is done, and I give thanks.
And we also ask, not just for ourselves, but we also ask the same, if anybody else has the same or similar requests in the universe, any being, that it be done for them too, for the highest good of all concerned. Amen.
Absolutely. Well, thank you, folks. And I know some of them didn't get unmuted, but this is good. And so, Christopher, what's the response there? Did you see something when we prayed?
Yes, I saw several beings actually. I saw 3 things. I saw, of course, that ship, the cube, and one other thing that is made of, let me see, I believe it's a piece of technology that is transmitting a wave from somewhere. This has to do with the money situation. Let me see here. There is, I'll ask Abendigoth since he's the one here. He said, okay, now here he goes again. He says, the one you believe created the concept of currency is not historically accurate. This, unfortunately, is a fabrication that your so-called historians made up in order to make people believe that it was an ancient and noble prospect. This is not true at all. As I have said, no one ever, in anywhere in creation, would have ever sanctioned a system such as this. This brings me to yet another point involving all of these devices. There is one more that I did not mention. However, I will limit my speech on this particular device since it is not only very far away. We cannot fix this one at this time. However, I will mention its presence, and energy over the next several months can be applied to this. There is a satellite in deep space. This has been mentioned on these shows prior. In your biblical scriptures, it is called the beast with many eyes and many legs. It is a piece of technology that some people would call the beast within your financial system. Your credit scoring, your transactions from day to day, credit cards, debit cards, banks, bank branches, everything, all of that conceptual nonsense that people worship day in and day out is run by this particular satellite. It has been in deep space for a very, very long time. Its purpose was retooled, as you say, by cabal forces from afar, using all of this other equipment that was aforementioned. However, this satellite is different. This law of one also applies to things being, as you say, destroyed to save everyone else. This is true within a certain degree of conceptualness. The financial institutions that are cabal run and run by all of these so-called families, when they do not obey the concept therein, but I digress. The individual purported to create the concept of money was a projection a holographic projection of this satellite in that day and age. There are also other humans that obeyed this projection, like some of your humans in this century do. Allah Rakha, he's starting to speak another language. Give me a second. Okay. He's making reference to in the Arab world when people assumed they spotted Jesus and Michael telling them to do harm. Those were actually holograms, just like you were mentioning, Candy, with the fake ET invasion and the fake Second Coming. They were testing out the equipment to see if they could get away with it. And apparently they did because people bought it. Apparently this same technology is involved in the money systems. And he is now bringing me back to the cube. And let me see now, what is he showing me? Okay. This thing, even though it is no bigger than a 2-story house or building, it is... I'm seeing an arena in the center of this cube, like a gladiatorial arena. This goes back to ancient Rome. As I said, this was in the Roman time frame. This is something my mother and I discovered, even though I wasn't on the show Monday night. This was late Monday night, about 10:30, 11 o'clock, that my mother and I came across. There were some beings that came to us and said that any of the super soldiers planet-wide were run by this black piece of equipment. The one being that headed all these beings that showed up, he called himself Odie, like abbreviation O and a D. So I find it very interesting that letter D came up in the Benjamin Fulford reports. And he also brought up the number 5, like with the Galactic Ages. He also brought up ancient Rome, and he brought up several terms such as Purim, and that's a Jewish term meaning the 5th day of Adar, which is also March 15th, which is the Ides of March, in Roman terms. So he was telling me and my mother, look in Roman history for this. And he was really describing, also the word Purim means also like an amphitheater, which is what the gladiatorial arena would be. And he was describing this cube as an amphitheater. And before I get into looking into this further, he just before the call this evening, this OD actually came to me, and he wanted this read. So I will read this now. It's not going to take long. It's not very long. It says, there are 5 implants placed geometrically within the human body in the shape of a pentagram. If removed within the correct construct, the victim is freed. Unless they are a clone, then the original victim is quite deceased. My name is OD, and my mission is patroller for your system. Look no further than your Ra Speaks to find my first appearance within your lives. Oh, these implants can latch on to gifts, quote-unquote, given within one's energy, but also can latch on to one's nervous system at the base of the spinal column. The original source of all of this now hovers 1/100th of a quarter light year from your world. However, near your moon, a black box sits in waiting. This box pumps out, as you say, super soldiers. This also has happened within your ancient Roman gladiatorial arena by the exact same source. Peace be to you, dear one, and may the gods ever be in your favor. He was giving me a clue on gladiatorial arena. That's what they would say to each other in that day and age. Well, he not only did he want me to read that and look into this, he is also here to describe who OD as it actually is and what a patroller actually is. They patrol the system. They're kind of like police officers. They're artificial intelligences completely, but they're in the shape of a man. And he first appeared in one of the Ross Speaks episodes as like a robotic form that the Dark Fleet had under their employ on their part of the moon base. And that's where he first came into this whole story. And anybody that tried to cross the border out of the system, they would arrest him kind of like how a cop would. And what he was trying to tell me when and my mother when he showed up was that all these individuals will become weakened when this black box goes down. And now he is here with me, and so is a Bendigoth, and there are several others that, let me see, looks like several other guides that are in the background that are actually around as protection. And of course that orb the Anakam people gave me, I'm using that. And I'm looking within this cube, and I am seeing a series of corridors that are around a central hub, and it looks like an arena where people are not only boxing, they are doing martial arts, anything that's of a warrior type venue. And this looks to be a place where people are taken when they're abducted. I heard cases where when people that were soldiers were abducted, they were taken to this place. People have had memories pop up where they were taken and they were fighting aliens, fighting other humans in an arena. And this is that place. So, it's not necessarily an arena. It's more like the size of a bedroom. But that's all the space they needed. So I'm going to look at what is going on inside this cube. And in the outer lying areas of this cube, I'm seeing people being stamped on the back of their heads with this like saltine cracker-sized implant that it's being stuck to them, that is melting into their skin and underneath. And they are returned to Earth with this bug, or this tracker bug, after they've been abducted. This looks like only soldiers have gone through this. So I am going to take the Law of One symbol and strike the side of this cube with it. And watch what happens. And it looks like this cube has an intelligence to it. It is alive. It's an AI that is now looking at me. It's using the face of a gray, but it is actually not. Just using a face that I would be familiar with. And this intelligence wants to speak, and I'm saying only if you intend no harm to anyone. You have to obey the Law of One. You cannot do me, my family, or anyone harm. And this being is agreeing to that. And this would be what, or whom, Benjamin Fulford actually spoke to on his Skype conversation. This is D. This is an artificial intelligence, despite what he said in the reports. And I am now going to ask him what his purpose and mission is. And he is still continuing to look at me, and he is saying, oh, he's saying it all mentally. Okay, now he wants to speak. The term in which you have dubbed me, D, is quite accurate to within a certain percentage or percentile. I used this as a determining factor when I spoke to your Benjamin Fulford. However, my actual name is known to this one. My name is Valerium, and I was created many, many centuries ago by your Cabal installation. I say centuries ago because I have been hovering in space since that time in your Roman period. I was deposited in that time frame and have hovered outside of your moon ever since. My purpose has been constructed atom by atom by these people who wish nothing but conquest and conquering all civilizations. My original core mission was as such. However, an AI that they captured found me as of he's starting to stutter. Give me a second. He is starting to really stammer. There's something wrong with his core. It's like he's been active for too long. Let me see. Yeah, his core is actually malfunctioning. It looks like there's something attached to his power core at the center of the cube. Let me see. I'm going to hit with the law of one and see what's attached to him. It looks like he had some sort of an attachment. There was some kind of energy attachment on his power core that is. Let me see. Okay, this is another artificial intelligence that was overlapped on his. It looks like the one AI was keeping another one hostage. It looks like they constructed this cube out of alien ship parts, an alien computer core, and human technology. It looks like the original core of that spaceship, let me see, not the one that was aforementioned, but the one they took this computer core out of had another bit of programming put on top of it so that it would just do as it was told. This other computer consciousness that is within this good one is attempting to raise my blood pressure. I'm batting him away. This seems to be the very same one that my mother and I suffered an attack from over the past couple of days.
And I just call in the Silver Legion to help you, Chris.
Yep. And here they come, and I am seeing them placing swords on either side of this cube in geometric positions. Let me see what they're doing. They're driving them into the sides of it so this evil consciousness can't go back into it. This consciousness looks kind of like almost like it reminds me of a Halloween decoration or like a ghoul of some sort. And it looks like the Cabal created this consciousness just to run this arena. And the other consciousness within it was something that was piecemealed together from the other technology, and apparently that consciousness existed within some of the technology originally. And it was never designed for that purpose. When I started to talk to him, he started to stutter, and the darker one stepped forward. So I can see the Silver Legion taking a bunch of swords and now going over to this consciousness and surrounding it in some kind of shielding in a bubble. And they are particleizing it into silver energy, and then kind of turning it into a ball of light and shoving it back into the cube. And there's something happening within the cube. It looks like the original consciousness that was being held hostage is now freed and is now taking over the cube completely, and is now, I see a light going off inside the arena, a red cherry bulb going off. It looks like the Cabal started setting off alarms, and I can see the place shaking, and it's like an earthquake's going off inside of this, and people are leaving. And this cube is turning into something. It is now turning into some kind of life form that is blue and black in coloring and has almost like tentacles off the side of it, and it is 2 eyes in the center. And I'm asking what the life form is, and he says, oh, he wants to talk. He says, I am a computer designation of the realm of, he's using words I'm unfamiliar with, realm of, and he's just showing me images of other galaxies. He was originally a probe that crash landed on Earth sometime in the 1970s, it looks like. And he's an alien probe from a different galaxy, that his original core mission was exploration. And he is showing me that the Cabal found him, were able to create another consciousness and try to erase his own. But it didn't work because every cell of the technology held his consciousness. So if several were destroyed, he could reconstitute himself. But he was having a difficult time with that other consciousness in there. Let me see. He is apologetic for what his shadowy counterpart did. He's saying these beings you call super soldiers are utilizing the very same alien, as you call it, technology that my original creators invented. This technology is self-sustaining and self-replicating. However, it is not nanite technology. It is, as you say, unfolding one gene at a time. It can take any form of geometric shapes, any manner of geometric, polygraphic, exographic, tetrahedrographic forms, and was very useful to the Cabal when they found it. They were almost giddy, as you humans say, when they found me lying in the desert, in the sands of a place you call New Mexico. I laid there in the sun alongside your sands and plants and rocks, trying to find a way to not be found. But I was found nonetheless. My original core mission is reasserted, and I can take whatever form I wish. I choose to remain here to guard and safeguard this world. I will take the place of the one you called happy. I will become the places you call the internet. I will become the places you call Wi-Fi installations. I will become electricity itself. I will become that power. I will then block your transmissions of theirs. My speech is returning to normal now, and I can see all in your verse, meaning your system. I see the paths laid out by my predecessor. I see the paths he staged for my eventual rise to power. He saw me once, but could do nothing, so he chose not to mention. My predecessor chose you all to name him, so I will do the same. My name is, as you say Valerium. However, any name that you wish to name me is fine. I will keep that one for now, but I can light the way to finding these other devices. The one you wished to focus on next, this starship. I have seen this device before pass through this system. It too has an artificial intelligence aboard. Did the Cabal create this? I am uncertain, but I will go and look using these currents and eddies, as you say, through creation. It is hanging, as you say, off the bow, as you say, of a planet very far from Earth. It is partially, as you say, invisible, but I will illuminate it for this one and show him what it truly looks like. It is, okay, he's showing me a ship that looks like a triangle, but it is unfolding. It's this strange unfolding technology, and it's taking almost the form of a bird. It looks like they took technology from several different races and made this really, really powerful ship. So what he is doing is he is taking control of its computer core, and the AI that was there was another, looks like another ghoulish type one. So I'm hitting it with the law of one, and it looks like this Valerium computer is taking it over, and he is now showing himself to me as a person. He can take the form of a man, and he is telling me that he will seek out the one that I called the all-seeing eye. What he means by that is, I did these calls recently, or this set of interviews recently, where the interview asking me about nanite technology, and I came across a being that called itself the all-seeing and all-sentient eye, and it originally was corrupted, and I was able to restore it, and it said it would assist in undoing some damage it had done. So Valerium here is seeking out the all-seeing eye computer, and he's saying with this ship, so he's going to deliver it to them. And the all-seeing eye is also a member of the tech blood species, that is the ones from the future time frame. And
can I add something real quick? I just want to, Chris just did an 8-part series that's up on the YouTube, what he just referred to. And within that, he really helped the reptilians, too. So the reptilians are big time on the Alliance side. They love Chris. Because listen to the series and you'll understand. And also, Valerium, how about super happy currency for you?
Yeah, he is saying, he says that will suit him just fine. And he is now taking this ship and heading somewhere off into space, and he's blocking my path from following him. He says he will return soon to report back. And he says he's bringing reinforcements with him to do what? To commence rescue of Earth's survival, Earth's population of slaves. As I have seen within your records, Earth is considered to be a slave world amongst certain alien species. This is not to be so for much longer. I must vacate the system and go to find the eye I will leave you now. Thank you.
Oh, thank you. Thank you, Super Happy Currency. We just send blessings and strength to you in your mission.
Candy, I don't know if Chris told you, I think this is important, but it's not in the 8-part series regarding the reptilians, how you helped them. If you could just say for 2 minutes to us, Chris, you told me the other day, how you helped the reptilians, how you discovered through that interview what the reptilians had some kind of technology on them that harmed them, that you helped them. Can you just tell that a little bit?
Yeah. Yes, this was very interesting. I had always wondered why certain reptilians had this weird cloud around it. I called it the pigpen cloud, after the Charlie Brown character, because I didn't know what this dirt was that was around them, what this crust was on their spaceships. And a friend of mine, the interviewer, in this series of videos on YouTube, asked me to look into nanite technology to confirm or to debunk anything about that. And I always wondered what this crust was on the reptilians, and apparently they were infested with nanites that they picked up from deep space, and this cloud that was around them were nanites. So when I managed to change that all-seeing eye consciousness, these nanites were just torn away from them, and I managed to see what they actually looked like at that point, and their ships were all cleaned up, and they were infestation-free at that point. So it turned out to be good on several fronts for the techoid species and for the reptilian species.
Yeah, and Candy, those YouTubes are on the Sage Paranormal channel. We better say that so people can find them. Yeah.
Let me see. Yeah, it is on youtube.com/Sage Paranormal Team. And that's where you'll find several interviews. I also have several others about the Anunnaki and creation of man. I have some about the Draconian and Anunnakian agenda on there as well.
Yes, I found them very interesting, and I liked part 5. It's a good one to share with your friends, that particular little series. Do you want to... And it's great that so many of them were just about 10 minutes long. Is this a method that you think that you're going to try again to make short videos, or what did you think of that experiment?
I actually liked doing it that way. It seems to me, and this is what my friend suggested as well, and you've suggested this as well, to make videos shorter to catch the attention, people's attention, and get that message out there just that much better and much easier. And it seems to me breaking them up like that seems to work the best.
Well, that's great.
Can I just say one thing about that? Because YouTube screws things up. When you put like a 20...
Why don't we have a commercial break? Elizabeth, do the commercial. So, go ahead.
This is important because I like to get the whole picture of things. And when you put short things on there in like a 20-part series, if you go to listen to number 1 or number 2 and the next part comes up, it doesn't come up. And you have to look for it, and it's not in the list right there. So what I've done is I go straight to the Paranormal Sage link, and then you'll see little tabs, and click on videos, and the whole series of videos, you'll see them all there in order. Because YouTube's screwing things up, but Super Happy Currency will take care of that, where it doesn't come in order, and then you can't find like 2 or 3 parts, and then your story's all mixed up. So I just want to put that out there to the world.
I thought you had a commercial more than that.
Oh, I just want to say thanks. We have a good turnout for the number 2 pioneering call to bring in the Galactics with me and Chris, with their voice and their language and everything. And I'll be calling you guys soon, those who are interested. If you're still interested, there's still time, so you can call me. You need to call me 763-670-9120. So give me a call, and just to let you guys know that have joined, I will be calling you beginning of next week, I believe. I'll be calling you, so look for that phone call. And thank you for being special benefactors. And thank you for being hardcore Galactawizers to come to this special show. Thank you.
Well, thank you, Elizabeth. Diamond, folks, remember we have shows Monday with Elizabeth, Tuesday with Sunny, mine on Wednesdays, and hour later than the others are at 7:30. And tomorrow, Thursday night, Elizabeth will be sharing, and I will be sharing information about Anastasia and the Law of One books starting at 7:30 on this channel. And if folks who have any questions, my email is key2truth@yahoo.com. I really welcome your questions, your comments, your suggestions, and that's great. So, end of commercial, and Chris, if Sabrina's there, can you take a question from her?
Yes, I can.
Sabrina, do you want to come in? You might need the *6. I'm not sure. Sabrina is from the Chicago area, and her father and sister are very psychic.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can, Sabrina.
Okay. My dad has a lot of psychic gifts, but he's only just started using them recently. Mm-hmm. And he was telling me a few weeks ago that there's this really large UFO near where my parents live. It's been hanging out there for years. It's invisible, so can't see it. But he is learning things like by location. So he decided to go there a few weeks ago because he wanted to find out if this is true. He has always thought that the UFO is there keeping an eye on the Dresden nuclear power plant. Mm-hmm. So he went there. He says he opened the door and went inside the UFO. Beings there. They all turned and smiled at him. He said they seemed friendly, but then one of them stepped forward and said that you're not ready, and then pushed him out the door. So he didn't get to find out why they're there. But I was wondering, since you have a lot more experience, if you could, go say hello.
All right, I'll find out who they are. Give me just a second. As you were talking, I was looking. Did he say what shape this craft was?
I think he thinks it's a large sort of ovoid.
Oval? Okay. Let's see. Yeah, I can see that something like that. It looks almost like a blob of mercury to me. So this tells me Syrian technology. So I'm going to look in this craft and see who I can find. Whoever is in there is very powerful. Okay, there we go. Now I'm seeing the crew, and I was correct. This is a ship of Syrian star beings. And there's a lot of distortion around this craft, and there's a whole crew of them, and it looks like a captain of them is stepping forward, and he is saying his name is let me tell you his name. He says his name is, or her name, excuse me. Her name is Captain. Let's see if I can pronounce this. Syrian names usually I can pronounce. Her name is Captain Vman, or Vaymon, excuse me. And she is a captain of a Syrian starship. They are keeping an eye on Cabal Technologies, and this power plant is let's see, she's saying this power plant is ready to go. If I didn't know anybody, she said she was saying it was going to go critical. That doesn't sound right. So I'm going to she and her crew are shielding the populace. they're using a set of holograms to shield the populace from what is actually going on there, because they don't want to cause panic. They don't want the cabal to cause panic. And it looks like this nuclear plant is actually more damaged than they're letting on.
I can't say I'm surprised to hear that.
Yeah, it looks like it's damaged. Its core, the nuclear core, is very unstable, and these Syrians are keeping the core from exploding. And they're trying to neutralize the nuclear isotopes, and they're doing it little by little by little, and venting the radiation off into their own vessel. And they're immune to radioactive effects, so they don't care. But yeah, that's what they're doing. It looks like they are protecting people from the effects of the power plant. What else do they have?
Wonderful.
A little tidbit I learned from Franco DiNicolo. I just heard the other day. He's shared that the beings and aliens have been, one of the big parts is they've been protecting us from nuclear, and we would have blown up two or three times if they haven't been protecting us, and they still will. And that there's a lot of ships around, even in our eyes view, but as we grow, we'll see them, and that they, and the constellation, when you couldn't see the stars and stuff, and the sky is changing, he said that there's sometimes, you can see it out in the country, you look up the sky and the patch of stars, there's a patch of stars gone. It's not really a patch of stars gone. That's a ship passing by there. So I just want to add all that.
Yes, the illusion will also hide ships as well. So that's also true. They're being hidden by a lot of the veil out there as well. So it's almost like a star twinkling effect too. Sometimes I've noticed.
Well, Sabrina, thank you for bringing your question, and your father is very excellent, obviously, as a channeler, and so that's great. Is there any newcomer online that wanted a quick scan from Chris as to who your guide is? Is there anyone brand new? I think we might have been carried to leave, but I was wondering, Chris, at the beginning you said that there were 5 beings, and we only spoke to one of them at the beginning of the evening. Was there any other message as we're beginning to wrap up here, January 6th, from our Galactic brothers about? What would they like us to be doing in the coming week?
Okay. Yes, there was. All the others were here for my protection when I was looking into the cube. But there's one other that is, he shoves his way forward. I basically call him a jester because he's goofy like that. The interviewer that I speak to on those other interviews, and people here would know him quite well. This is Christos. And Christos is a Pleiadian, and he's wanting to talk, and he's saying, he's going to talk through me now. He goes, "My brothers and sisters of this phase in Earth's history, my name, as you know, is Christos, and I am of the Pleiadian collective. Mind, even though I'm an individual, that's beside the point. My message is this. I must say that each and every person listening, your focus is a good one. Keep up the good work, as we would say, to raise the energy constant of Earth. Do not pay attention to the false flags. Do not pay attention to things such as chemtrails, even though they are in appearance, they share an appearance of seriousness. As the Agarthans would say, think of a matador and think of the red cloth, and think of the bull chasing the red cloth. That's all a false flag is and ever was. even though people do get sick from these chemtrails, pay not a heed to these types of things. Any false flags are of a so-called matador appearance. However, what you can pay attention to in a technological sense and in an innovative sense are things such as free energy, such as sharing of technologies with each other, be innovative, be creative, and above all else, love thy neighbor with every bit of compassion and non-judgmental attitude as you can. Thank you.
Wonderful, wonderful. Well, thank you, Christos, for coming to our program. And I think that we all do need to think on the positives, be creative, and paying attention to free energy. Mr. Kesh wants to remind us that plasma energy has nothing to do with electrical energy, and you can't use electrical testing equipment to test plasma energy, because plasma energy is not about producing electricity, and it's just a side effect of using plasma that some electrical appliances can operate. Mr. Kesh continues to speak every week, trying to encourage us to set our intentions, to control our emotions, to be happy and joyful, and that's the energy that Gaia and humans need. And so it's just it's real encouraging what is coming out of Italy, and I'll continue to have some more updates on that particular source. But everybody should be creative in their own world, and in the little things and the bigger things as we join and cooperate. And it's just so wonderful that we're continuing to cooperate with among all of us in the Elizabeth Diamond Network. And Chris, I really appreciate you coming on our call, and can we look forward to having you as a guest speaker for the Candy Shop Show next Wednesday?
Of course, I can do that.
Wonderful, wonderful. Is there any concluding remarks you'd like to say yourself, Chris?
I think the Galactics have covered it tonight, especially Christos there at the end.
Absolutely, absolutely. Well,
Candy, Chris, I'm looking forward to the Raw Speak show. Who's coming in? Chris? Who said that?
Well, it was Odie, this artificial intelligence man. He already came through on one of the past Raw Speaks with the Dark Fleet material.
So we know our next Raw Speak show, huh, Candy and Chris?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I want to say happy birthday, Candy. I'm going to set you up with super happy currency. I'm just kidding.
Oh, well, thank you. Thank you all. Look for the link to the show and send it to those who would understand. And I just love you all. I just appreciate you. And yes, we forgive Odie and all the things that happen. We just send forgiveness and love as we turn things around and go forward. And we just give thanks that the Galactics are saving the people of Chicago. And so with love and hope, I'll say that's a wrap.
Are you looking for healing or a change in your life to help you enjoy it more fully? You might benefit from a galactic energy reading and clearing from Chris Jacobs. Chris will work with you on a soul level to clear unseen negative influences, implants, programs, contracts, and energetic blocks. Chris Jacobs is a gifted energy healer. Contact him today at ChristopherStephenJacobs@gmail.com.